Sri Dāmodara Jananī by Shivaram Swami. Appendix 1. Theme verses to chapters 1 through 12, Part 2. Chapter 7. Mother Yashoda conquers Krishna. Srimad Bhagavatam 10:9, 17 through 19. Evam swageha dhamani Yashoda sandadati api gopinam sushamanyantinam smayanti vismita bhavat. Thus Mother Yashoda joined whatever ropes were available in the household, but she failed in her attempt to bind Krishna. Mother Yashoda's friends, the elderly gopis in the neighborhood, were smiling and enjoying the fun. Similarly, Mother Yashoda, although laboring in that way, was also smiling. All of them were struck with wonder. Swamatu svina gatraya vishrastha kabar srajaha drishva parisraman Krishna kripayasit swabhandade. Because of Mother Yashoda's hard labor, her whole body became covered with perspiration, and the flowers and comb were falling from her hair. When child Krishna saw his mother thus fatigued, he became merciful to her and agreed to be bound. 10:9-18. Evam sandarshita hyanga harina bhrittavasyata swavashena api krishnena yasyedam shishvaram vase. O Maharaj Parikshit, this entire universe with its great exalted demigods like Lord Shiva, Lord Brahma, and Lord Indra is under the control of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Yet the Supreme Lord has one transcendental attribute. He comes under the control of his devotees. This was now exhibited by Krishna in this pastime. 10:9-19. Chapter 8. Sri Dāmodara's Mother. Srimad Bhagavatam 10:9, 20-21. Nimamvarin chona bhavo nashirya pyanga shamshaya prasadam lebire gopi yattat prapya mimuktidat. Neither Lord Brahma, nor Lord Shiva, nor even the goddess of fortune, who is always the better half of the Supreme Lord, can attain from the Supreme Personality of Godhead, the deliverer from this material world, such mercy as received by Mother Yashoda. 10:9-20. Nayam sukhapo bhagavan deham gopikasuta jnaninam chatma bhutanam yata bhakti matamiha. The Supreme Personality of Godhead, Krishna, the son of Mother Yashoda, is accessible to devotees engaged in spontaneous loving service. He is not as easily accessible to mental speculators, to those striving for self-realization by severe austerities and penances, or to those who consider the body the same as the self. 10:9-21. Chapter 9. Krishna remembers Kuvera's sons. Srimad Bhagavatam 10:9, 22-23 and 10:10, 1-23. Krishnastu griha krityeshu vyagayam matari prabhu adrakshid arjuno purvam guhyakao dhandanatmajao. While Mother Yashoda was very busy with household affairs, the Supreme Lord Krishna observed the twin trees known as Yamalarjuna, which in a former millennium had been the demigod sons of Kuvera. 10:9-22. Puranara shapena vikshantam prapitau matat nalukuvara manigrivau itikayato shriya anvato. In their former birth, these two sons, known as Nalukuvara and Manigriva, were extremely opulent and fortunate. But because of pride and false prestige, they did not care about anyone, and thus Narada Muni cursed them to become trees. 10:9-23. Shri Rajuvacha Katayatam Bhagavan Eta Tayor Shaptasya Karanam Yatat Vigharhitam Karma Yinava Devarsha Sheshtama. The king inquired from Shukadeva Goswami, O great and powerful saint, what was the cause of Nalukubara and Manigriva's having been cursed by Narada Muni? What did they do that was so abominable that even Narada, the great sage, became angry at them? Please kindly describe this to me. 10.10.1. Shri Shukavacha Urujasyamancharo bhutva Sudriptao datmajo Kailo sopavane ramye Mandakiya madodkato. Shukadeva Goswami said, O King Parikshit, because the two sons of Kuvera have been elevated to the association of Lord Shiva, of which they are very much proud, they are allowed to wander in the gardens attached to Kailash Hill on the banks of the Mandakini river. 10.10.2. Varunim Madiram Pitva Madagurhinita Lochano Shri Janer Anugayad Bhish Cheratu Pushpate Vane. Taking advantage of this, they used to drink a kind of liquor called Varuni, accompanied by women singing after them. They would wander in that garden of flowers, their eyes always rolling in intoxication. 10.10.3. Antabravishya Gangayam Ambojavani Vrajini Chikridator Yuvati Bir Gajav Iha Karenabhi. Within the waters of the Mandakini Ganges, which were crowded with gardens of lotus flowers, the two sons of Kuvera would enjoy young girls, just like two male elephants enjoying in the water with female elephants. 10.10.4. Rajitshreya Chadevarishir Bhagavans Tatra Kaurava Apashyan Narado Devo Kshibhano Samabhutyata. O Maharaj Parikshit, by some auspicious opportunity for the two boys, the great saint Narada once appeared there by chance. Seeing them intoxicated with rolling eyes, he could understand their situation. 10.10.5. Titam brishva vrididag devo vishvastra shapta sankitaha vasamshi paryadhu shigram vivastro naivaku yako. Upon seeing Narada, the naked young girls of the demigods were very much ashamed of being cursed. They covered their bodies with their garments. But the two sons of Kuvera did not do so. Instead, not caring about Narada, they remained naked. 10.10.6. Taudrishva madhirya mato Shri madamandao suratmajo tayor angrahar artaya shapam dasyan imam jago. Seeing the two sons of the demigods naked and intoxicated by opulence and false prestige, Devarshi Narada, in order to show them special mercy, desired to give them a special curse. Thus he spoke as follows. Shri Narada Vacha Nahyango Dusharam Joshan Bhudi Brahmsho Raja Gunaha Shri Madat Apijatyadhir Yatra Shri Duyatam Asavaha. Shri Narada said, among all the attractions of material enjoyment, the attraction of riches bewilders one's intelligence more than having beautiful bodily features, taking birth in an aristocratic family, or being learned. When one is uneducated but falsely puffed up by wealth, the result is that one engages his wealth in enjoying wine, women, and gambling. 10.10.8. Hayante Pashavo Yatra Nirdhayer Ajidatmabihi Manyanmer Imam Deham Ajara Mityu Nashvaram. Unable to control their senses, rascals who are falsely proud of their riches or of their birth in aristocratic families are so cruel that to maintain their perishable bodies, which they think will never grow old or die, they kill poor animals without mercy. Sometimes they kill animals merely to enjoy an excursion. 10.10.9. Deva samgitam hyapyante krimi vid pashma samgitam bhutadruk tadkrita swartam kim veda nirayo yataha. While living, one may be proud of one's body, thinking oneself a very big man, minister, president, or even demigod. But whatever one may be, after death this body will turn either into worms, into stool, or into ashes. If one kills poor animals to satisfy the temporary whims of this body, one does not know that he will have to suffer in his next birth. For such a sinful miscreant must go to hell and suffer the results of his actions. 10:10:10. Deha kim anadhattu swam nikshitur matu evacha matur prituva balina kretur agnisuno piva. While alive, this body does not belong to its employer, to the self, to the father, the mother, or the mother's father. Does it belong to the person who takes it away by force, or to the slave master who purchases it, or to the sons who burn it in the fire? Or if the body is not burned, does it belong to the dogs that eat it? Among the many possible claimants, who is a rightful claimant? Not to ascertain this, but to instead maintain the body by sinful activities is not good. 10:10:11. Evam sandaranam deham vyaktam prabhavayayam kovidvan asmasat kritva hanti jantu riteshataha. This body, after all, is produced by the unmanifested nature and again annihilated and merged into the natural elements. Therefore, it is the common property of everyone. Under the circumstances, who but a rascal claims this property as his own, and while maintaining it commits such sinful activities as killing animals just to satisfy his whims? Unless one is a rascal, one cannot commit such sinful activities. 10:10:12. Asato shri madhandasya dhadridyam param anjanam atmaupamyena bhutani daridra param ikshate. Atheistic fools and rascals who are very much proud of wealth fail to see things as they are. Therefore, returning them to poverty is the proper anointment for their eyes, so they may see things as they are. At least a poverty-stricken man can realize how painful poverty is, and therefore will not want others to be in a painful condition like his own. Yata kankaka vigtango jantur nechati tam vyatam jiva samyam katolingir natat vidha kankataha. By seeing their faces, one whose body who has been pricked by pins can understand the pain of others who are pin-pricked. Realizing that this pain is the same for everyone, he does not want others to suffer in this way. But one who has never been pricked by pins cannot understand this pain. 10:10:14. Daridro niraham stabbo mukta sarva mader iha kricham yadrichayapnoti tadhitasya param tapaha. A poverty-stricken man must automatically undergo austerities, penances, because he does not have the wealth to possess anything. Thus his false prestige is vanquished. Always in need of food, shelter, and clothing, he must be satisfied with what is obtained by the mercy of Providence. Undergoing such compulsory activities is good for him, because this purifies him and completely frees him from false ego. 10:10:15. Nityam kshut shama dehasya dharidyasya kankshinaha indriyani anushushanti himshatpi vinivartate. Always hungry, longing for sufficient food, a poverty-stricken man gradually becomes weaker and weaker. Having no extra potency, his senses are automatically pacified. A poverty-stricken man, therefore, is unable to perform harmful, envious activities. In other words, such a man automatically gains the results of austerities and penances adopted voluntarily by saintly persons. 10:10:16. Daridyasya yujante sadaba samadarshinaha sadbhirkshignoti tam tarsham tatta arad vishudyati. Saintly persons may freely associate with those who are poverty-stricken, but not with those who are rich. A poverty-stricken man, by association with saintly person, very soon becomes uninterested in material desires, and the dirty things within the core of his heart are cleansed away. Sadhunam samachittanam mukunda charnasinam upekshai kim dhaner stabdher asadbhir asad ashrayahi. Saintly persons, sadhus, think of Krishna 24 hours a day. They have no other interests. Why should people neglect the association of such exalted personalities and try to associate with materialists, taking shelter of non-devotees, most of whom are proud and rich. 10.10.18. Tat aham matayor matpya varunyashi madhandayaho tamo madam harishyami shainayar avijatmano. Therefore, since these two persons drunk with the liquor named Varuni or Madhvi are unable to control their senses and having been blinded by the pride of celestial opulence have become attached to women, I shall relieve them of their false prestige. 10.10.19. Yad imo lokapalasya putra bhutva tamapulautao na vishvasam atmajam vijanitaha sudurmadho. These two men, Nalakubara and Manigriva, are by fortune the sons of the great demigod Kuvera, but because of false prestige and madness after drinking liquor, they are so fallen that they are naked, but cannot understand that they are. 10.10.20. Ato rata stavharatam syatam naiva yata punaha smitasyan mat prasadena tatrapi mad anugrahat. Therefore, because they are living like trees, for trees are naked but not conscious, these two young men should receive bodies of trees. This will be the proper punishment. Nonetheless, after they become trees and until they are released by my mercy, they will have remembrance of their past sinful activities. 10.10.21. Vasudevasya sanidhyam labhva divya sarachate vritte swarka lokatyam bhuyo labdha bhakti bhavishyataha. Moreover, by my special favor, after the expiry of 100 years, by the measurement of the demigods, they will be able to see the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Vasudev, face to face, and thus revive the real position as devotees. 10.10.22. Shri Shuka Vacha Eva Mukva Sadevarshir Ghato Narayana Shramam Nalakuvara Manigrivav Asator Yamalarjunao. Shukadev Goswami said, having thus spoke, the great saint Devarshi Narada returned to his ashram, known as Narayana Ashram, and Nalakuvara and Manigriva became twin Arjuna trees. 10.10.23. Chapter 10. Krishna fells the Arjuna trees. Srimad Bhagavatam 10.10.24-43. Rishir Bhagavatam Mukasya Satyam Kartum Vacho Hari Jagama Shanakaish Tatra Yatrastam Yamalarjanao. The Supreme Personality of Godhead, Sri Krishna, to fulfill the truthfulness of the words of the greatest devotee Narada, slowly went to that spot where the twin Arjunas were standing. 10.10.24. Devarshame priyatamo yad imo dhanaradatmajo tattata sandhyasyami yad gitam tan mahatmana. Although these two men are the sons of the very rich Kuvera, and I have nothing to do with them, Devarshi Narada is my very dear and affectionate devotee, and therefore, because he wanted me to come face to face with them, I must do so for their deliverance. 10.10.25. Iti antarena arjunayo krishnastu yamalo yayo adma nirvesha matrena tiryagatam ululukam. Having thus spoken, Krishna soon entered between the two Arjuna trees, and thus the big mortar to which he was bound turned crosswise and stuck between them. Balena nishkaryashatad vad ululukam tad Dāmodarena tarasot kalinge angribando nishpetato paramavikrametativepa skanda prabhava vitapo kitachanda sabdho. By dragging him behind with great force, the wooden mortar tied to his belly, the boy Krishna uprooted the two trees. By the great strength of the Supreme Person, the two trees with their trunks, leaves, and branches trembled severely and fell to the ground with a great crash. 10.10.27. Tatra Shriya Paramaya Kakubha Spurandato Siddha Vupeta Kujayo Iva Jatu Veda Krishnam Pranamya Shiraksha Kila Lokanatham Bhadanjali Virajasav Imam Uchatasma. Thereafter, in that very place where the two Arjuna trees had fallen, two great personalities who appeared like fire personified came out of the two trees. The effulgence of their beauty illuminated all directions. With bowed heads, they offered obeisances to Krishna, and with hands folded, they spoke the following words. 10:28. Krishna Krishna Mahayogims Tvam Adya Purusha Vyakta Vyaktam Imam Vishvam Rupam Te Brahmana Vidu. O Lord Krishna, your opulent mysticism is inconceivable. You are the supreme original person, the cause of all causes, immediate and remote, and you are beyond this material creation. Learned Brahmanas know, on the basis of Vedic statement, Sarvam Kvalidam Brahma, that you are everything, and that this cosmic manifestation, in its gross and subtle aspects, is your form. Tvam eka sarvabhutanam dehashvatmanadriyashvaraha Tvam eva kalo bhagavan Vishnu avya ishvaraha. You are the Supreme Personality of Godhead, the controller of everything. The body, life, ego, and the senses of every living entity are your own self. You are the Supreme Person, Vishnu, the imperishable controller. 10:30. Tvam mahan prakriti sukshma raja sattva tamomayi tam eva purusho janksha sarvakshetra vikaravit. You are the time factor, the immediate cause, and you are the material nature, consisting of the three modes of passion, goodness, and ignorance. You are the original cause of this material manifestation. You are the Supersoul, and therefore you know everything within the core of the heart of every living entity. 10:31. Grihamanaish tvam argraho vikarai prakatai gunai kon Ivaharati Vigyatum Praksidhanam Guna Sambritaha. O Lord, you exist before creation. Therefore, who, trapped by a body of material qualities in this material world, can understand you? 10:32. Tasmai tubhyam bhagavate vasudeva vedase atmadhyota gunaschana mahimne brahmane namaha. O my Lord, whose glories are covered by your own energy. You are the Supreme Personality of Godhead. You are Sankarshan, the origin of creation. You are Vasudev, the origin of the Chaturvyuha. Because you are everything and are therefore the Supreme Brahman, we simply offer our respectful obeisances unto you. 10:31. Yasavatara gyayante sharishve ashirinanaha taster atulyatishtir Virya Dehi Asangatai. Appearing in bodies like those of an ordinary fish, tortoise, and hog, you exhibited activities impossible for such creatures to perform. Extraordinary, incomparable, transcendental activities of unlimited power and strength. These bodies of yours, therefore, are not made of material elements, but are incarnations of your Supreme Personality. 10:34. Sabhavan sarvalokasya Bhavaya vibhavayacha avatirnam shabhagena samapraptam pratyashisam. You are the same Supreme Personality of Godhead, who have now appeared with full potency for the benefit of all living entities within this material world. 10:35. Nama parama kalyana, nama parama mangala, vasudeva shantaya, yadunam pataye namaha. O supremely auspicious, we offer our respectful obeisances unto you, who are the supreme good. O most famous descendant and controller of the Yadu dynasty, O son of Vasudeva, O most peaceful, let us offer our obeisances unto your lotus feet. 10:36. Anjananihi nao bhumams tavan nuchara kinkaro Darshayan now Bhagavata Risha Asid Anugrahat. O Supreme Form, we are always the servants of your servants, especially of Narada Muni. Now give us permission to leave for our home. It is by the grace and mercy of Narada that we've been able to see you face to face. 10:10:37. Vani guna anukatane shravano katayam hasto chakarmashtumanas tava padayorna smitam shiras tava nishvasa jagat praname drishva satam darshanestu bhavatanunam. Henceforward, may all our words describe your pastimes. May our ears engage in oral reception of your glories. May our hands, legs, and other senses engage in actions pleasing to you. And may our minds always think of your lotus feet. May our heads offer obeisances to everything within this world, because all things are also your different forms. And may our eyes see the forms of the Vaishnavas who are non-different from you. Shri Shukavacha Itam Sankirtitas Tabhyam Bhagavan Gokuleshwaraha Dhamna Cholu Kale Bhadya Prahasan Ahagu Yako. Shukadeva Goswami continued. The two young demigods thus offered prayers to the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Although Sri Krishna, the Supreme Personality of God, is the master of all, and was certainly Gokuleshwara, the master of Gokul, he was bound to the wood and mortar by the ropes of the gopis, and therefore, smiling widely, he spoke to the sons of Kuver the following words. 10:10:39. Shri Bhagavan Vacha Gatam Mama Puraiva Tad Rishina Kaunu Atmana Yat Shri Manda Mandayo Vadbhir Vibramsho Anugruha Krita. The Supreme Personality of Godhead said, the great saint Narada Muni is very merciful. By his curse he showed the greatest favor to both of you, who were mad after material opulence, and who had thus become blind. Although you fell from the highest planet Swargaloka and became trees, you were most favored by him. I knew all these incidences from the very beginning. Sadhunam samachitanam Sutaramat kritatmanam darshanano bhavet bhando pumsokshno sabaturyata. When one is face to face with the sun, there is no longer darkness from one's eyes. Similarly, when one is face to face with a sadhu, a devotee, who is fully determined and surrendered to the Supreme Personality of Godhead, one will no longer be subject to material bondage. Tad gachatam mat paramo Nala Kuvara Sadanam Sanjato Mai Bhavoyam Ipsita Paramo Bhava. O Nalakuvara and Manigriva, now you may both return home. Since you desire to be always absorbed in my devotional service, your desire to develop love and affection for me will be fulfilled, and now you will never fall from that platform. 10:10:42. Shri Shuka Uvacha Iti yukta tat parakamya pranamya cha punaha bhado ulukam amantriya jagmatur disham utaram. Shukadeva Goswami said, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, having thus spoken to the two demigods in this way, they circumambulated the Lord, who was bound to the wood and mortar, and offered obeisances to him. After taking the permission of the Lord, they returned to their respective homes. 10:10:43. Chapter 11. Nanda Maharaj releases Krishna. Srimad Bhagavatam 10:11, 1-6. Shri Shuka Vacha Gopanandaya Shutva Drumayo Patato Ravam Tatra Jagrumo Kurusheshtas Nirghata Paya Sankitaha. Shukadeva Goswami continued, O Maharaj Parikshit, when the Yamalajuna trees fell, all the cowherd men in the neighborhood, hearing the fierce sound and hearing thunderbolts, went to the spot. Bhumyam nipatato tatra dadrishur yamalarjuna bhabramus tad avigyaya lakshyam patata karanam. There they saw the fallen Yamalarjuta trees on the ground, but they were bewildered because even though they could directly perceive that the trees had fallen, they could not trace out the cause for their having done so. 10.11.2. Ulukalam vikarshantam dhamna cha balakam kasyadam kutak ashrayam upata itikataraha. Krishna was bound by the rope to the ulukala, the mortar, which he was dragging. But how could he have pulled down the trees? Who had actually done it? Where was the source of this incident? Considering all these astounding things, the cowherd men were doubtful and bewildered. Bala uchu aneniti tirya gatam ululukam vikarshata madhyagena purasav api achakshmahi. Then all the cowherd boys said, "It is Krishna who had done this." When he was in between those two trees, the mortar fell crosswise. Krishna dragged the mortar, and the two trees fell down. After that, two beautiful men came out of the trees. We have seen this with our own eyes. 10.11.4. Na te tad uktam jagur na gaheteti tasya tat balasyot patanam tarvo kechit sandigna chetasaha. Because of intense paternal affection, the cowherd men, headed by Nanda, could not believe that Krishna could have uprooted the trees in such a wonderful way. Therefore, they could not put their faith in the words of the boys. Some of the men, however, were in doubt. Since Krishna was predicted equal to Narayan, they thought, it might be that he could have done it. 10.11.5. Ulukam vikarshantam dhamna bhada swam atmajam vilokananda prahasad vadano vimumochaha. One Nanda Maharaj saw his own son bound with ropes to the wooden mortar and dragging it. He smiled and released Krishna from his bonds. 10.11.6. Chapter 12. Everything ends in transcendental bliss. Srimad Bhagavatam 10.11.7-8. Gopis tobito nityad bhagavan bhalavat kvachit udgayati kvachin mugdhas tadvasho dharu yantravad. The gopis would say, "If you dance, my dear Krishna, then I shall give you half a sweetmeat." By saying these words or by clapping their hands, all the gopis would encourage Krishna in different ways. At such times, although he was the supremely powerful personality of Godhead, he would smile and dance according to their desire, as if he were a wooden doll in their hands. Sometimes he would sing very loudly at their bidding. In this way, Krishna came completely under the control of the gopis. 10.11.7. Vibharti kvachit agyaptaha pita kon mata padukam bahukshepan chakurute swanam cha priti avahan. Sometimes Mother Yashoda and her gopi friends would tell Krishna, "Bring this article," or "Bring that article." Sometimes they would order him to bring a wooden plank, wooden shoes, or a wooden measuring pot, and Krishna, when thus ordered by the mothers, would try to bring them. Sometimes, however, as if unable to raise these things, he would touch them and stand there. Just to invite the pleasure of his relatives, he would strike his body with his arms to show that he had sufficient strength. 10.11.8.